hopefully be getting underway shortly. Now, as far as seeding goes, this is the 6th seed versus the 27th seed. However, as far as actual records go, I believe that RK left the Swiss stage with a 5-2 record and Lomion left with a 4-3 record overall. The rest of it just came down to sort of how their Buchholz and tie-breaking scores worked. Oh no, Mike was not working. Okay. Alright, well, after some technical difficulties, I would just like to formally welcome everybody to the first round of the Super Metroid Randomizer Accessible Tournament bracket. After the Swiss stage, we have separated our players into 3 stages, Rat, Mouse, and Gerbil. And today, we have our first match of the tournament bracket overall, and our first match of the Rat bracket. The 6th seed rkctkc versus the 27th seed LomionJones. And even though this is a pretty high seed versus a pretty low seed within this bracket, I think this is a really exciting match and one that could genuinely go either way. I think the seeds can be somewhat deceiving, as both of these players' records exiting the Swiss were actually quite similar. RKC left with 5-2 with a 5-2 record, and Lomion left with a 4-3 record. Yeah, heck yeah, you're gonna have to start watching this, Simo. This is gonna be a really exciting matchup. As I said, I think this could go either way. I think if one player, if we see a major deviation in decisions, one player decides to go up Red Tower and the other decides to go down Red Tower, that alone could be more than enough of a difference maker. There are a million different decisions that go into sort of routing these full randomizer seeds, and I think this could come down to the decisions these players make. It could come down to movement optimization. There are quite a few ways that we could see this match play out today. Alright, we should be getting underway shortly. It looks like our restreamer might have to re-grab the stream images. Yes, this is not reflective of the final result of this seed. But hopefully we can get you into the action soon. In the meantime, however, I can go over sort of what the SMRAT is. So the Super Metroid Randomizer Accessible Tournament is a tournament that, as the name implies, is a randomizer tournament. So every race these players run, they both receive the same seed for a ROM file. And that file contains all of the items in the game, however they've been shuffled over every location. You could, for example, find speed where you would normally find screw attack. However, there is a logic to where the items are placed, and that's where the accessible part of the name comes in place. It is a very forgiving logic. You'll never find any items locked behind themselves. So, for example, you'll never find speed at Waterway, a location that could only be accessed with speed. And the only tricks that the game can require you to do are vanilla game teaches you stuff like vertical shine sparking and infinite bomb jumping and wall jumps, namely. Alright, and our lovely restreamer Stratlog is getting everything set up for us right now. And we're underway. It looks like at the start we've seen Morph Ball, which will always be at its vanilla location, and just some missiles. An E-Tank in Retro Brin Ceiling, Vanilla location. I really like having at least one E-Tank early game. Pink Brinstar can be deceptively scary because you're accessing areas that the game expects you to have at least Varia suit before accessing. That space jump is really nice. It will allow our players to access the worst room in the game among other item locations. Yep, and our players right now are just heading back up to access some of the remaining checks. Because we didn't find power bombs yet, that means we must either find bombs or power bombs at Bomb Terizo in order for the seed's logic to be able to work out correctly. And the fact that our runners have not found power bombs yet means that they were not able to check the few locations, 4 in total, 2 at Billy Mays, 1 behind Morph, and 1 below Old Mother Brain, that are associated with Retro Brinstar. So they will either have to skip those hoping nothing is there or route them in later, probably when they are either going towards or coming back from wrecked ship. Alright, and we do find those power bombs there at Bomb Terizo. No BT fight today, unfortunately. It would have been a vanilla one too. Yep, and we see RK going down to check 230 missiles. There are a couple of runners who will actually go so far as to go down and clear Retro Brinstar, or at least below Old Mother Brain after receiving power bombs late. It's quite a costly decision, though, time-wise. So I would expect both of these runners to just head back up and do Brinstar sort of the normal way you might in the vanilla game. Now this is interesting. I'm curious what RK wants to do here. He can't clear Gauntlet with only one power bomb pack. Oh right, of course. He wants to check criteria power bombs. So this is a location where you can either check it early if you have something like Space Jump or bombs, or delay it up until you're checking wrecked ship. RK wants it early. This could be a really big play if he finds something like speed or a suit here. Unfortunately, it's just a reserve tank. Yep, and right now, Lomion is peeking the back of Gauntlet. He can't access these items, but he can tell what 2 of the 3 items are, and we see super missiles and power bombs. It's very unlikely, although I guess technically possible, that those would have to be your first super missiles. The seed would have some really whack logic for that to be the case, though. We would have to find Screw Attack. Well, we would have to find Screw Attack somewhere very early on. I forget if Lomian checked 230. I don't believe it was anything there. It might have been that second E-Tank that they both have. Either way, though, even though it didn't end up being anything in this case, if a player wouldn't have checked it, That's still knowledge that they don't have, which can still be significant in a seed that's not necessarily what we would typically refer to as a jet seed, a seed that can be completed very quickly with skipping a lot of the items. Yep, and at this point, because of RK checking criteria power bombs, both of our runners are effectively doing the same thing, just RK a couple of rooms behind. He could very easily make up that distance, though, at this point just through sheer movement. And here we're seeing sort of the first place within the run that it's really awkward that our runners don't have super missiles yet. They have that singular check that they'll probably never come back to unless that absolutely has to be something like a suit. Yep. Now, something that is possible at this point, and not likely, but more likely than it is most of the time, is we can have a hard required spore spawn. If our runners don't find any super missiles whatsoever, then and Spore Spawn is the only early super pack in the game, then they will actually have to fight Spore Spawn, as there is no way, to my knowledge, of doing Spore Spawn skip without having super missiles already. Alright, and here we have an E-Tank. There are 2 more checks that our runners can make before things start getting really wonky. Our runners will have to decide whether they want to see if Spore Spawn is the answer, or go all the way back to Retro Brinstar and make those 4 checks with power bombs. And there they are, in the last place they could possibly be before things get weird. Lomion didn't use his power bombs correctly, though. He's gonna have to leave behind Mission Impossible, or farm a power bomb. Yeah, and we can see RK on the right here correctly laid that power bomb to open up charge and spore spawn supers. So if Mission Impossible has something here, then that could be really good for RK. Yeah, you don't need to farm up to 5 before entering Big Pink if you lay all your power bombs correctly. Like RK didn't farm up, and he's still gonna be fine. Or wait, did he? Because he has 1 more than he should have. Either way, RK is going to be able to full clear Big Pink here, whereas Lomion just continues onward. And we see another E-Tank. Our runners are looking quite healthy. That could possibly incentivize an early wrecked ship play, Although a lot of runners would rather not do early wreck ship, going down red tower can just be very rewarding. And having red tower be a bust is not nearly as bad as full clearing an empty ship. However, Lomion does want to go up, so we'll have to see what RK wants to do. RK does find that wave beam. Wave beam puts certain checks into logic. However, it actually doesn't allow our runners with their skill sets to access any locations they weren't able to before. There's some way to get around every single wave gate in the game. I'm curious what RK is doing here. I guess, yeah, RK wants to pick up that one item that he left behind in Edakun's. He's traveling quite a long way for it. We're seeing a clear difference in strategy, where RK wants to be very thorough with the checks that he makes, where Lomion is playing it a little bit more fast and loose. If something is really early on, then this could really pay off for RK. Like, if we see a seed that just is sort of stacked for these front items, or we see a seed that's sort of labyrinthine in general, RK is going to be benefited here, either finding items or just having that knowledge. Whereas if we have a faster seed, then Lomion will be rewarded for continuing through. Yep, and Lomion finds a second power bomb pack, which I have to imagine at this point is quite the welcome sight. Power bombs, having a couple of packs of power bombs can be really nice when you have no clue if you'll ever find bombs. And really interesting, Lomion wants to go. Oh, and there are those bombs. Power bombs are not nearly as much of a concern anymore. But Lomion wants to go straight to wrecked ship. He doesn't want to check criteria power bombs or gauntlet beforehand. I wonder if he wants to check them afterwards. I believe that was X-ray scope there at Sky Missiles. Okay, it was X-ray. So Lomion probably won't pick that up. No, Fantoon's not in logic with this few E-tanks. With just regular power suit, SMRAT logic wants you to have just a ridiculous number of E-tanks. I believe 12. More than you are almost ever likely to find before finding a suit. 6 E-tanks is with Varia. Yeah, and RK is taking some really interesting routing here. Notably, this is in logic. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Lomion has everything he needs to go and fight Fantoon. Like, there's not a whole lot that you need in order to be able to fight Fantoon if you can execute. However, execution is obviously the important part. Even with this many E-tanks, Power Suit only Fantoon can be kinda scary. Those flames each do 40 damage. Yeah, I mean, you see how quickly Lomian just lost 2 E-tanks. And one of the other notable things here is if Lomian enrages Fantoon, he's in a really bad way. In the normal game, you can at least use Charge Beam to pseudo-screw through the enraged flames. However, Lomian has no such luxury. His best bet is to use his Pea Shooter and try and get Fantoon at just the right time. It's very strict timing. However, Lomian is doing quite a good job on this fight. And meanwhile, I guess RK is going for... Okay, so RK is skipping Climb Supers, which is a good call. He doesn't have bombs yet, and he would soft lock himself. I don't think... No, RK didn't skip 230. Yeah, you can see it on the map. Alright, nicely done from Lomian. Yeah, Bison, what strat is that? I am not sure I'm familiar. Yeah, like if you're RK and you want to check every single item, then taking reverse meme route is sort of the way to do it. Unfortunately for him, it's not looking like a good play yet. If seeds are in some really not great locations, then we could see things change. And I wonder if RK wants to come back on his way down from Fantoon and Wrecked Ship in order to check Climb Supers. It's quite a bit of a detour just for one item check. However, thus far, RK has been quite thorough. Yeah, RK sees the E-Tank there and just wants to reset. I like that. Not wasting a bunch of time over just a single E-Tank. Presumably now he will continue on to Wrecked Ship. He's already checked Criteria Power Bombs. We haven't seen anything particularly noteworthy on Lomian's side in Wrecked Ship thus far. Yeah, I imagine Lomian wants to save before Spiky Room of Death. If nothing else, then you can reset out. It's also a little bit scary. Like, the thing with Spiky Room of Death, with something like Space Jump, it can seem like it's really easy, but if one thing goes wrong, suddenly you're in a really scary spot. Yeah, see, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Oh no. Thankfully, Lomian has the save, but that will give RK a chance to catch up. But yeah, like, as soon as you fall into that water without gravity, you have to contend with awful physics. It's so easy to KO through those Kazans, which deal 200 damage to you with just Power Suit. Things can go really bad really quickly. Yeah, and now Lomian is just taking this really safe. I like this. There's not a great way to take this one. The last couple safe. Okay. Lomian makes it through. Very nice. And at this point, when you've already taken one death, I'm not sure what feels worse. If there is a really good item here you want to keep, or if there's not. Because it feels awful to have died for nothing. It also feels awful to have wasted your time for this super missile. It's just a bit of a lose-lose. Volcano's criteria power bombs, right? RK did check that, yes. He checked that at the very beginning of the game. Yeah, that was what put RK behind throughout all of the Bryn loop. Yeah. Alright, and Lomion is just using some super strats to get through Attic here. When you don't really have any items, Attic is an annoying room to do. See if he goes for any robot flips. Ooh, he tried to go for backup, but then ended up shooting the robot. Those robots are mean. I'm kind of surprised that Lomion didn't pick up that super missile after going through all those robots. I think if you're waiting for the last one to sort of back up, then you could leave a super missile behind, but at that point, it doesn't take that long to pick it up, and supers are really good. Your 30th super is especially notable, as that's how many you need to kill Ridley. Hopefully that doesn't come back to bite Lomion. Now it's interesting, Lomion wants to check the Wrecked Ship Reserve item from the top. You'll see some runners, especially in full randomizer, prefer to just check it by wall jumping up and laying a power bomb. And if you're really nifty, you can even bomb jump off that power bomb so you don't have to wall jump up again. Just a super missile, okay. But yeah, the advantage of checking this item from below is that you're going to be going sort of that general direction anyway to check the missile pack that's before it. Oh, and Lomion is having some trouble here. You can also jump and midair morph, however, that's quite tight as well. There are a couple different ways to get through these blocks, but none of them are super easy. Alright, yeah, and Lomion wants that grapple beam. I always like seeing grapple beam, especially when I have sort of a minimalist loadout like this. It gives me the comfort of knowing that I have some way to quickly kill Dragon. And Lomion does want that X-ray. That's an interesting decision. The most frequently applicable use of X-ray is being able to microwave bosses. You can do some other shenanigans with it too. However, you don't often see those used in randomizer. Yeah, X-ray can be used to kill Dragon quickly. However, Lomion will also need to find charge and plasma. And that can be a bit of a tall order. However, at this point, when we have so few items, it's looking somewhat apparent. Ooh, Lomion, be careful. It's somewhat apparent that this is fairly likely to be a seed that has our players checking most of the items in the game. Yes, you can. I believe it's well, I think you can use R mode to get a silly little clip in the Moctroid room if you don't want to do CF clip. It's really weird though. Eternized Dragon put out a video. Ooh, and with that last check, wrecked ship was a complete bust. You really hate to see it. Thankfully, it doesn't impact one of our runners more than the other necessarily, as they both went up first. And at this point, I'm inclined to say that the fact that RK made those extra item checks isn't necessarily a bad thing, as he has those knowledge, and Lomion is fairly likely to make them anyway, unless we just have like an absolutely stacked Norfair or something. Yeah, that's true. If neither of our runners had gone up, then we would have seen a stacked ship. That's just how it happens. It would be kind of funny to see somebody make a quote-unquote randomizer hack, sort of like the old cheater hangman flash game, where the randomizer just puts items wherever you don't check first. Yeah, we see Lomian checking all this stuff, and RK can just go straight down that elevator. So, unless Lomian somehow ends up passing RK in Red Tower, I think at that point RK is ahead by a bit. I believe Wave was at Mission Impossible, and Lomian didn't have as good of power bomb management, so he had to skip that check. And RK gets that D boost out of Alpha Power Bombs. I love that D boost so much. One of my favorite in the game. Every D boost is cool though, even the unintentional ones. I imagine RK wants to check X-ray here, yeah. It's pretty fast if you have space jump. Yeah, that's true. RK could be feeling quite a bit behind with just how much he's checked. And honestly, that's why I would advise most people to go against metagaming or sort of trying to play a certain way from behind. Is a lot of the time you often just don't have a good enough sense of what your opponent did to be able to play that way. Yeah, and honestly, if I'm RK, like, RK shouldn't have any reason to feel behind until he goes down to Norfair if there's something there. Like, if you see stacked crates, stacked high jump boots, anything like that, at that point, a lot of people would be feeling really behind. Especially with how common going down the elevator is. Yep, and so at this point, we are going to be seeing some all-new checks here on our case screen. I have to imagine that power bomb was a misinput. A little bit frustrating. Both of our runners, as a result of all these checks that, like, I keep on saying there's quote-unquote nothing at this location or whatever, they are getting quite a bit of ammo. So finding something like charge probably won't be an issue. Yeah, I really like going down Red Tower. And that speed booster is quite nice. Lomian didn't check climb supers, did he? Alright, RK will be setting up for the Crate Quick Kill here. He uses the X position normalization strat of laying a bomb and then turning around. I really like this. It puts you in a nice position so you know that you have to fire at the same speed every single time. Ooh, and unfortunately he fired a missile right into Kraid's claw. Oh, and a nice backup. It took him a while to get it into position, but I think that still would have been faster than if Kraid ended up rising. Yes, this is game 1. Yeah, our runners are planning on doing 2 in a row. I'm not sure if we have a team in place for it. I unfortunately can only do the first game. Yeah, and Lomian, like the more confusing this seed is, the more of a disadvantage Lomian has, because not only did he check items less efficiently, he had to leave those 2 items in Brinstar behind that he's probably never checking until way later on. And that could just be weighing on his mind. Why did Lomian skip those power bombs? He has 15. He can Crystal Flash. It can be nice to have an extra pack if you think Crystal Flash Clip is an option for you. I'm not sure if Lomian even does that though. Or oh, what did he skip? Not why did he skip? Yeah. Lomian skipped the green missile door in Edicoons, as neither of our runners had supers at that time. RK went back for that location and Lomian did not. And then Lomian skipped Mission Impossible as he didn't have as good a power bomb management, so he didn't have a power bomb there. Oh, Ice at Bubble Mountain and a suit would be Yeah, Ice at Bubble Mountain and a suit at Climb Supers would be devious. It's interesting that RK wants to check Ice here. This isn't in logic, and it is a hell run, but I guess if you want to be thorough, and you're anticipating you can just continue onward in Norfair with this Bubble Mountain check, then this is a good play. That's cold-hearted. RK does not want Spazer. I can understand this play though, specifically because RK has wave. If he finds charge, then without even pausing, RK can do some X factors. Also, it's really unlikely that RK will be killing Mother Brain using Charge Beam. Alright, let's see this Bubble Mountain. Yeah, Lomian unfortunately had a bit of trouble with Kraid. I believe this is the last location that we have not seen. Oh no! Hey, I didn't even roll this seed. Go blame Stroutlog. This is way too kind to be a glove seed. No, Waterway can't be the play. Waterway actually requires gravity within SMRAT logic. Yeah, this is a good seed though, I like this. Yeah, it's possible. Alright, when I say Waterway can't be the play, it's possible that something really good like Vari is at Waterway, but that can't be the next step within the logic. And Lomian picks up his French vanilla high jump boots. Now, Climb Supers is, to my knowledge, the only location that has not been checked. He did not check Climb on the way to wreck ship. He didn't have enough power bombs. He had enough to check it, but not enough to get back out. So he would have soft locked. Yeah, RK's checking Waterway first. It probably doesn't matter too much which order you check these in. Yeah, so this check is made a lot faster with the space jump, as you can see on RK's screen. If this is Vari, that's hilarious. Yeah, just missiles. So at this point, RK will be beelining for Climb Supers and picking up his complimentary suit. Just as Lomian sees that ice beam. And if you're Lomian, you have to hope against hope that you find a suit at Climb Supers, because otherwise it's at one of the two locations you skipped that your opponent might have seen. They did not check the rest of Bubble Mountain, and that is specifically because that's not in Logic without Varia. The SMRAT, in an attempt to be as accessible as possible, the logic behind it is very forgiving. At least with what it can require you to do, it can create some really nasty logic chains. Yes, Lomian could have checked Climb Supers. It doesn't, like, even if Lomian had checked Climb Supers though, I think he still would have last locationed that Ice Beam, so it wouldn't have made a huge difference. And there is Varia. Of the two suits that you could find here, Varia is definitely the nicer one. There are fewer and much more clustered locations where gravity can be now, compared to if gravity had been here. There are some really annoying spots that Varia can be. I'm not sure what RK's doing. Like, this is definitely a slower way to get back down to Norfair. But maybe RK really wanted that refill. Now, here's the question here. Does Lomian check Etacoons first, or climb supers? Yeah, RK could do Lower Norfair before Bubble Mountain. It's probably fat, like, it's... If Bubble Mountain has nothing, then doing Lower Norfair first is faster. But for example, if something like Screw Attack or Gravity are there in Bubble Mountain, then it would be better to do Bubble first. But yeah, I do agree, like, I generally advise against metagaming, but at the point where you've skipped something that your opponent almost definitely will have checked, then I think it's fair to assume that nothing is there, and if something was there, you would lose no matter what, even if you come back for it. Yeah, RK is being really thorough here. Going so far as to check Cathedral. There's Lomian's Varia. It's definitely possible for Lomian to come back in this, depending on where gravity is.
Like, or well, that's right. With SMRAT logic, there's not really many places gravity can be at this point. Yeah, I agree. Like, Croc would be the only the only significant way that Lomion could come back. Yeah, I don't think it would be enough. And I think, like, if you're Lomion on Lomion's side, I think no matter what, it's generally bad practice to do Croc before Bubble Mountain. It's just so unlikely to pay off. Yeah, if you are behind, it can be worth the gamble. However, being behind and feeling behind are two completely different things. Yeah, I mean, like, talking routing wise, unless Lomion really wants to check the Cathedral item, then because Lomion didn't check Ice earlier, he should do Ice Beam into the missile pack below Ice, and then do Croc Speedway. Like, even if you're skipping Croc, that's a faster route. Well, yeah, that is true. Our players are going to do another seed after this thing. We are 50 minutes into it and still haven't seen Go Mode. Yeah, at this point, where like RK knows that gravity has to be here in Croc. At this point, I would rather do Croc beforehand. Like, you're saving what? A room transition or two? And gravity is just so big for Lower Norfair. And there it is. I don't expect Arcade to check really anything else at this point. Like, RK has beat the game ammo and then some. He has ice, he has speed, he has high jump boots. There's not much else that could really speed up the game. Screw Attack can make Lower Norfair faster, but it's not even a big difference at this point. And I admire the attempts at the Croc spike suit. I don't know where he would use it unless he wants to continue into Croc. I guess you could do some nifty plasma or lava spark shenanigans. That would be kind of funny. Lava spark using your spike suit from Croc. Oh yeah, that's true. You'd probably use it here. Yep, Lomion finds that gravity. Alright, let's see this Lava Spark. Lava Spark's really hard. Yeah, so RK was fast enough to get it. Unfortunately, it's not enough to charge the Shine Spark. You have to get the Shine Spark in such a way that you hit down to sort of clip over that corner so you're already falling. Otherwise, you won't have enough time to activate it. Oh, and Lomian is continuing Croc. This is really unlikely to pay off. Yeah, like, see, Lomian finds that charge. Oh, well, that charge is nice for him. He doesn't have beat the game ammo yet. But, like, that charge would have meant nothing to RK. Yeah, I assume with that, Lomian's go moding. Hey, Charge Ice can give you Ice Shield. That's really good. Okay, not really good. Ice Shield is a little bit sad, honestly. I think Stratlock told me this. I believe each particle does 90 damage. Which isn't a ton. But it can help against Mother Brain. So Lomian would probably just want to go for Charge Ice Spacer shots anyway. Ooh, that was really weird. Lomian ran into the spikes. And it looks like RK still wants to make these sort of fast checks. Although with those Dusgigas, that didn't end up being especially fast. I guess, like, if RK found Charge and Plasma, that could speed up Dragon. Alright, and I like going for the speed strats here. If RK is really considerate about his ammo usage, he can skip a ship refill. Yeah, a safety E-tank in Lower Norfair is always really good. If I find, depending on my loadout, if I find an E-tank at Power Bombs of Shame, I sometimes kind of like leaving it for Escape as a refill. Because Ridley doesn't tend to drop much health. Alright, and Lomian does the very nice down back there. There are a few different ways you can do that down back. That one's the easiest. You have multiple seconds to do that down back. So I highly recommend it for anybody who's trying to get better at Lower Norfair. Alright. And we should be seeing a high five soon. No, the down back is not faster than space jump strats. If you have space jump, always space jump. So the thing that down back does specifically is because you're bonking against the pillar, it ensures that you always have the same position when you land. So you're not gonna accidentally fall down into a weird place or hit a space pirate. Yeah, gravity was Croc. Ooh, RK takes a beating in this room. That's one of the harder rooms in Lower Norfair Escape that makes it so scary. With both suits, RK still has enough health to sort of just face tank 3 Musketeers as long as he doesn't make mistakes. Yeah, and RK skips that super pack again. Like, I think, like, for RK to pick up enough supers for ship refill skip, he's almost certainly going to be wasting more time than it would take to just ship refill. Oof, that's kind of scary. I have no clue how much RK has in his reserves. Lomion's in kind of a bad spot here. I'm not sure how many supers he missed. Alright, there we go. Very nice. Yep. And at this point, RK wants to just farm up first here, actually. Okay. Yeah, this is fine. Yeah, even if you're only picking up like one additional pack, this ship refill, I'm trying to think, maybe waste like 10 to 12 seconds. So you're not saving all that much time. Well, I think the farm here was probably just for health. Like, he was pretty low. So if you want to get some health and, hey, bonus supers as well, that's not so bad. Yeah. Yeah, it is an interesting seed. With runners at this level, you're not usually seeing... Yeah, with runners at this level, you don't usually see players fighting their last boss at an hour in, but when you have a seed like this, there's not really a way around it. Like, I do not believe anyone who's like, oh, this could have been a fast seed if you just routed it better. Well, yeah, I mean, it was basically double last locationing suits, too. Like, they didn't have to go down all the way into Croc, but they still had to complete all of Bubble Mountain. Yeah, like, I think the fastest way you could complete this seed is do seed, or you go down Red Tower, check Bubble Mountain with speed, get that ice beam, and do climb supers on your way up to wreck ship, and just try to big brain ship skip. That's so risky though. Yeah, I mean, I think like with optimal routing, you could probably do burn skip, right? I don't think there was anything there. Ooh, I don't know about that diagonal Shine Spark. That doesn't do a lot of damage to Dragon. Yeah, I mean, I would never recommend somebody burn skip. Nice quick kill. Or quick grapple on Dragon. Ooh, and the spike suit. Very nicely done. Yeah, and at this point, RK definitely has to go for ship refill. Yeah, that's true. Bryn did give you energy. Yeah, spike suit's a hard trick. I've only ever gotten it in the practice realm. Alright, we saw a nice little high five there. Chabo's Eternal Spike Suit hack. Yeah, I started playing the Eternal Spike Suit hack. I'm gonna try and do RBO. I think it could be really cool. Because you can play it really risky. And Lomian is still checking ammo. That's interesting. He has beat the game ammo with a bit of comfort. Maybe he just wants to feel a bit cozier. Yeah, and he has charge as well, so he's not gonna soft lock. Yeah, I guess like it's two checks in the same room, and if you find the plasma to microwave Dragon, that could be significant. It won't be a difference maker here, or wouldn't be, but it would gain Lomian some time. Yeah, I mean, I think with the charge ice plasma beam, and this ammo count, you would definitely skip ship refill. But with charge ice spazer only, I think ship refill is good for Lomian, like undeniably. And RK enters Turian. Should be a pretty fast Turian with that ice beam. And RK doesn't have to worry about any grouping strats if he doesn't want to. Yeah, see, he's just blazing through these rooms. First room goes down. Ooh, Lomian was just a bit too high on that Shine Spark. If you get caught out of position, it can be scary. Nice quick grapple. Alright, and we're seeing a baby skip setup here from RK. Let's see if he can execute. I don't know about that precious missiles check after Dragon. If anything, I feel like you would want to do it beforehand, because the only thing that can really speed you up is plasma, and that would make Dragon so much faster. Maybe he just forgot about the check. And RK didn't quite get baby skip. Unfortunate. Yeah, doing the super fast baby skip is really unlikely. You both need to have, like, so you need to fulfill the conditions of having a runner who can execute it, having a runner who is willing to go for it, and having that same runner be able to get all the items required. I believe all of speed, high jump, spring ball, and space jump are required. Alright, nice zip skip there from RK. But yeah, I agree, it would be really cool to see. Alright, and RK has a super cozy fight here. And he doesn't even have to worry about stand-up. I mean, you can do stand-up without charge beam, it's not required. The most you can do is save a few frames though. Alright, nicely done. No, RK does not know where he is relative to his opponent. I think it would be kind of interesting, I think, to see a randomizer race where you're allowed to watch your opponent's stream. That would be its own can of worms, though. Just see where they are, sort of like in Multitroid. Yeah, that would be interesting. I think there are ways you could do it, but it would definitely be sort of a novelty gimmick. Alright, and we're about to begin Mother Brain 3 here. RK's in the home stretch at this point. Hopefully he's pre-typed out his dot done during that long cutscene. And he goes for the nice lag reduction strats here. Every frame that the hyper beam is on screen, the game lags a whole ton. So by getting up in Mother Brain's face, you reduce the amount of time that those rainbow beams are present. Nice on morph strats. There are a couple people who will go for the full unmorph strats of running off that platform and getting like the perfect turnaround and morph. It's really tight though. I think Guy Average goes for it and nails it a distressing amount at the time. Well, we will see in the credits coming up shortly where Screw was. Yeah, Screw could have been pretty much anywhere in Meridia. It could have been pretty much anywhere in Lower Norfair. Could have been bottom of Croc. Where Spring Ball was. Yeah, that would be nice. Alright, and rkctkc finishes in first place with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 13 minutes, and 18 seconds. GG. We'll see if we can get him in for an interview. Alright, and we are joined by RK. RK, GG.
Hey, thanks a lot.
So, how you feeling about that seed?
I wasn't a fan of that Varia location. That's pretty rare for it to be there.
Yeah, it was really interesting. Like, throughout the seed, you were being a lot more thorough with your checks.
I definitely was.
Yeah. And Lomian skipped some stuff, but you ended up actually taking the lead because you checked everything in a very efficient manner, whereas Lomian had to scramble around trying to find something to progress.
Okay. I was wondering why he hasn't finished yet, but the reason why I did that is because I went in to this race confident enough that I had him in movement. So I figured I could do extra checks and still be okay. So I just went ahead and just checked everything I could as I went through it.
Yeah, it makes sense.
But the Varia being where it was, if I don't know if he went down and found that speed and then went and checked that, he could have easily taken me, you know. But because I went wreck ship first and full cleared it and found nothing, and I thought, oh my gosh, it's over. He just beat me, you know.
Yeah, so at the beginning of the game, you took fairly similar routes. It's just you full cleared everything. Like Lomian didn't go back for Etacoons, didn't check criteria power bombs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, or any of that, and he went through Red Tower and then went up Red Tower to go to
Okay,
Wreck
so he
Ship
went wreck
first.
ship first too.
Yeah.
Okay. The play was to go down first and grab that speed, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, grab that speed
Oh,
and then find the ice at Bubble Mountain.
yeah.
Use that to go to Climb Supers.
Overall, I was pretty satisfied with my gameplay. I had pretty good movement. A little worried at Lower Norfair escape, but I thought I was behind. If I knew if Lomian went down and grabbed that, he would have an edge on me. So I thought I was behind. I was trying to go as fast as possible, but
Yeah. Hey, you got that?
Commentary.
Yeah.
I'll have to go back and watch
Thanks for
it.
sticking around. Good luck on your next match.
Thank you.
I unfortunately won't be able to comment, but I will be watching the beginning of it. I have to leave at 5 to take a phone call. So good
Okay.
luck.
Thank you.
Yep. All right, and hopefully I can be heard again at this point. We're trying to get both of our runners set up for round 2. Unfortunately, I have to leave, so I will not be able to join you on commentary. However, I wish both of runners the best of luck, and I hope everyone will stick around for game 2.